do, YouTube? It's the best sniper in the world, the best Call of Duty player in the world, the best Warzone player in the world. It's me, your boy, Ed Sheeran, or Queso on Ozempic. I've been called Skinny Queso before. Both are acceptable. Hey guys, it's Jinja, Jinjo and Ninja. You get it. I'm Ginger, and this is Story Time with your favorite Ginger. What rhymes with Ginger?
Bottom floor.
And today, guys, you know we're playing Warzone, and you know I'm going to show you how to win every single time. And as always, comment, like, subscribe, and put push notifications on. Like and share my video. Send it to your mom. It's not that hard. So this is gameplay from the other day. I was playing with my friend Money Shot, my Pookie. He's probably going to hate that I said that. And it was just me and him in a party, so we were playing with two randoms, two bots. So you know this method is effective. So what you want to do, first of all, if you're playing with randoms, say this at the beginning of the game, when you're in the airplane, not when the timer's going down. Yell to your teammates, land at headquarters, go to the bottom floor, meet at the bottom floor, all four of you, stack. I don't care what people say about stacking. Stack. Do you want to win? Stack. Go to the bottom floor, go to the vault, go to the card scanner, get a card. Next thing you know, vault will open if you have 30 swipes, find someone on the team who has it, whatever. Go in the vault, get loaded up. Everybody in their card. Go to the buy station right next door. Trade in your cards. Get money, buy a loadout. You got your loadout. You're ahead of everybody. And it works. You got a lot of money. You can get whatever you need. And if you get a polyatomic card.
Alright, watch the staircase.
Now that you know how to win Warzone, by the way, here's my loadout class. I know everybody wants to see the loadout and have the new meta. This is what I'm rocking. I don't know if it's the best class. I don't have enough time to go through the billion attachments to figure out what shoots straight, what shoots circles, what shoots up, what shoots in my face. That's my uncle. Pause. Resume. And I don't know if it's just me or a skill issue, but I play so much better when I pick up somebody else's loadout. When they die and drop their gun and I pick it up, I'm getting 15 plus kills, everything. If I'm using my loadout, I'm just kidding, but I do play better with everybody else's guns. Maybe they have the meta. Maybe pick up their guns and study what they're using, because I don't know. These YouTubers don't know. All the streamers cheat. I don't cheat, but my ex-girlfriend does. Where was I going with this? My first story is about none other than UFOs. So it basically starts off like any other UFO story. Me and my roommate decided to go to a park after hours to barbecue our brains. We may have partook in the devil's lettuce. See, I shouldn't have told you that before I tell you the story because it's going to discredit everything I say, but hear me out. So we were in the park, there was no light, so it was dark, obviously, and you could see the sky perfectly. You could see every star and everything, and I had a tinkle. So my roommate told me to go pee on a tree. I'm a shy peer. See, this has been this way ever since I was a kid. I have to go into stalls when I go to the bathroom. I can't use urinals. Besides the point. But you shy peers out there, just know I stand with you. Well, I stand with you in the stall. Not with you, though, like at the same time, though. Unless you want me to. So I'm peeing on a tree. I walk back to my friend. When I walk back to him, all I see is him just standing there, staring at the sky like this. And he's like,
Guys,
bro,
they're coming in.
bro. And now I know he's serious because we've seen UFOs together all the time. I'll get to that. And I just instantly look up. And all I see is hundreds of little white dots going in a circular motion across the sky. See, I never believed that the earth was flat ever once in my life. Never. Well, I kind of like play with the theory, like how, you know, you always experiment and play with things. What I was trying to get at was they were in a curvature motion, so I know the world is circular now. Took me this many years on earth to figure that out. They were in this like curvature motion. Hundreds of white dots just one after another, synchronized, just going in a line across the sky. I'm just staring like, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Me and my roommate are freaking out. We're screaming. We see only one other person in this park. I don't even think we were supposed to be in this park, keep in mind. So we see one other person. We start yelling at him like, dude, bro, hey, look up, look up. We're under attack. They're invading. We're losing it, right? So this guy looks up, completely unamused, could care less, and he starts tweaking and freaking out. He was on drugs. So were we, but he was on some other drugs, okay? Like crack, meth. I live in Florida. You get it. So, of course, everybody who just seen this natural phenomenon occur right in front of our eyes is discredited because nobody's going to believe us. We're believable, me and my roommate, but kinda, not really. And here I am yapping about it on my YouTube channel, and you guys probably just think I'm making up all this for views. All right, yeah, this didn't happen. It did happen. Trust me. Take my word for it, bro. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. We tried to film it. We got footage of it. I'm not even going to show you because it's going to make you not even care even more. Because all it is on the iPhone is just black with little white specks. That's all you see. And they kind of move. You get the point. And now this experience would scare most people. It sure scared me and my roommate. I think in the video you can literally hear me say I'm gonna shit myself. Because when I tell you, if I saw any one of those 100 dots come downward, and I also thought they were forming hexagons. I thought they were in the sky just going down and forming these hexagon shapes in the sky, almost making like a honeycomb. And I was like, the world's a simulation. It's real. There's a wall in the sky. Now, I know I lost you at this point, but this is 100% true. Also, you're probably thinking that this could have been like a drone light show, which I thought that. So I did a quick Google search and found out there was no drone light shows anywhere in my area. So good try, Fed boy. It was aliens. So I can't really think of any other crazy UFO stories I have, but I have seen a lot of UFOs. I just haven't seen them up close or any details of them. But I have this other story I'll tell you, okay? This is a quick one, but I'm telling you it because it lives rent-free in my mind, and since it's up in here and bothers me often, I'm gonna share it with you. So when I was younger, I had this friend, Eddie. I used to always go to his house. He had an older brother named James. I used to hang out with James all the time. So one time when I was sleeping over, I was sleeping in James's room. No diddy. This was not my uncle's house. So he had a couch in his room. I'm sleeping on it. Next thing you know, I get woken up in the middle of the night to this. Keep in mind, James was a heavy boy. So there's a lot of weight in this. So imagine a lot of weight. Just, hey, hey, hey. A lot of weight and a lot of breath. Like a lot of, wake up. So I wake up and he's like, I had a nightmare. And I'm over here thinking this had to be the most crazy nightmare ever that you woke me up out of my sleep to tell me in the middle of the night. And I'm like, yeah, bro, what is it? Tell me. Because I'm a good friend. I care about him. If he has demons haunting him, I will fight them with him. So I was like, what was your nightmare about? And he was like, there's a vampire. And I was like, okay, what happened with the vampire? And this is what he told me. He said the vampire came up to him and said, I want to suck your dick. That was his nightmare. I get why it's scary, but why are you even having the nightmares? And if you're having those nightmares, I don't care. Why'd you wake up and tell me it? This, keep in mind, this happened like over 10 years ago, like maybe 15 years ago, maybe around that time, and it haunts me to this day. I'm scared that this vampire is gonna show up in my dream next. And since we're on the topic of vampires and penises, we might as well talk about the paranormal. So I don't have many first-hand paranormal stories, but I have a lot of indirect paranormal stories. Like back in 2017, I had this girlfriend that I love dearly, that I think about all the time, and she was the best thing that ever happened to me, and she'll probably be the only good thing that ever happened to me, and I messed it up, and I'll never get her back or ever experience it again. Anyway, she had a lot of paranormal stories. I remember when we first started dating, I would always go to her apartment, and when you went to her apartment, there's like a staircase that went up, and the apartment was on the top floor, and she didn't have a bedroom. She lived with this girl, and she would sleep on the couch in the living room. A lot of stuff happened in that living room, probably even before she met me. I don't want to think about this. So I remember one time we were making out on the couch, her bed, aka her bedroom, and her roommate walked out. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but her roommate was like, have you told him about the shadow man? The what? And my girlfriend was like, no, and got really embarrassed and awkward. And I'm like, hey, yo, is the shadow man like an ex-boyfriend or something? So apparently my girlfriend would see a shadow man in the house wearing a top hat. She would see him at the bottom and top of the stairs. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's something you should tell your significant other. Like when you first start dating and getting to know each other, you should be like, oh, my favorite color is red. I love Chipotle.
I'm haunted by a demon at night.
I mean, knowing me, I already ignore red flags, so I'd probably just look at her and be like, I also love Chipotle. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was lying. But then I remember a few months later, I was watching ghost videos on YouTube, and apparently the shadow man with a top hat is like a universally seen ghost. Like this ghost is getting around everybody's girlfriend, not just mine. He's going to everybody's girlfriend's house. So once I learned that this is like a real thing, like folklore, like everybody knows about this, like ghost hunters know this story, I start freaking out a little bit. I was always at her apartment, and I personally never seen the Shadow Man. I was really disappointed. I actually had my own Shadow Man top hat experience, which is really crazy because it happened around the same time, but before I met her, I think. So I was a freshman in college, and it was a requirement that all freshmen had to live on campus, but my school was also overfilled with students, so I remember I had to live with 2 roommates in one room. The room was smaller than the room I'm in now, and there's 3 of us. One of them was a hippie. The other one was a blind Indian kid. And when I say blind, I don't think he was actually blind. I think it's like Stevie Wonder, where they're like kind of blind, but they just pretend to be entirely blind. Because this kid would play video games all day, but not do his homework because he's blind. But I know he was kind of blind because when he would play video games, he would be up to his screen like this. Like literally, if this was the TV, he'd be like this. And let me tell you about my hippie roommate. And we all had bunk beds, right? So my bunk bed was here. The door to our dorm was right here. My hippie roommate, Chemist, his bunk bed was right here. Our bunk beds faced each other. My blind roommate was on the other side of the room. We let him have his whole side of the room. I'll get back to the Shadow Man, trust me. But my hippie roommate, way scarier and creepier. So one night I'm sleeping on the top of my bunk bed, right? And I wake up in the middle of the night, as most people do. I sit up in my bed, and I jump. Because you know what I see across from me? My hippie roommate is sleeping on the top of his bunk bed across from me. Crisscross applesauce in the meditation position. Literally like this. Just staring at me. So you wake up from the middle of the night. You're a freshman in college. You moved away from your parents' house. You're trying to get an education and have a brighter future. And you wake up to this. Hey, how'd you sleep? Now that's just one example of the weird stuff that he would do. Another example is there's a college like down the road from us, and he found a hippie girlfriend over there, right? So I was happy for him, you know, 2 hippies making love, one love, peace and love everywhere. I'm all for it. Except one time I come back to my dorm room, I open the door, nobody's there except for his girlfriend, and she's on all 4s, like bridge position. Like all 4s, like when you're like this, like on the floor, like Grudge type of thing. Is it the Grudge? I think it's the Grudge. Exorcist, the Exorcist, like crab walk. She did that. Full sprint on all 4s, upside down, might I add, right at me as I walk in the door. So I open the door, just full sprint crab lady upside down at me. And I'm like, nope, close the door. I think that's way scarier than the Shadow Man story I'm about to say. Shadow Man story's scary. She freaked me out. I don't think I ever saw her again after that. I think I actually avoided her. Back to the Shadow Man story. It happened in the exact same dorm room, except now I'm alone. Nobody else was there. I had the lights off. And the way my setup was, so I had the bunk bed, right? I had a desk right under my bunk bed. So I'm facing the wall and the door is right here. And I'm on my laptop. I think everything's fine. I'm in the room alone. I don't got the hippie. I don't got the blind kid. I'm living life. And you know when you can feel somebody looking at you from behind? I'm on my laptop, so I have the entire room behind me. I turn around. I see a full-blown man, shadow figure, just staring at me in the back of the room. And I just freeze. I go into shock. It's almost like he had me under a trance. And this is a real story, keep in mind. I don't want you guys to think I'm crazy. Because when I say this stuff out loud, it's like, oh, I'm doing it for a YouTube video. Of course, he's just lying for content. This is, everything I'm saying is real. Down to the, I want to suck your dick. That was real too. So I see the Shadow Man, I go into full shock. And I used to always watch like horror movies and anything scary, and I would always talk so much shit when people would see something scary and they just, like the cartoon, I see something scary.
He's right below us. He's coming up.
So I used to always talk shit about people who'd go into shock when they've seen something scary. But then I'm full blown face to face with a Shadow Man, and I'm telling you, like I see it. I see what I see. I saw what I saw. Even my uncle. So I go into shock. I still think it was like a trance. And it's also weird because after this experience, every time I try to remember the Shadow Man, like in detail of what I've seen, it's like fuzzy, it's blurry. Like if all your memories were laid out in a movie, he took that one scene and just blurred it. Like blurred just him in that scene. So yeah, after a few seconds of looking at him, I just remember thinking in my head, the door is right there. Run out the door. run out the door, and I just couldn't. But I also didn't really feel like he meant any harm, but I did run out the door. So after the shock kind of wore off, or his trance wore off, I just bolted out the door, and I got on Facebook Messenger, and I started messaging all my friends that I had just met at this college, being like, meet me outside my dorm, I just saw a ghost. I didn't have many friends in college, can you tell? And I'm pretty sure I messaged like 4 or 5 friends, and only one came. And that's it for today's story time. Of course, we got the Warzone dub. Try out my method. It always works. And let me know what you thought of my stories in the comments below. And I'll see you when you're sleeping. I'll see you in the next video. You know what I meant.